Hi, University of Redlands School of Business and Society students. So glad to meet you virtually. I look forward to our 8 weeks together. Together, we're going to learn and we're going to do all kinds of different ways of thinking. I'm an adjunct professor at the University of Redlands, and I'm also a writer and a blogger. I retired as a senior director for public affairs and brand communications for a major healthcare organization in California. So I look forward to meeting you and getting to know you. So I'm going to share my screen right now, and we are going to talk about the writing process. I know probably many of you aren't enthralled with writing. You've had bad experiences perhaps, but I'm hoping that that will change. Okay, so let's get started. Oh my, we have many processes in our daily lives, and we may not have realized that they really are processes. So think about getting up in the morning. What do you do when you get up in the morning? Do you jump out of bed and you head for the shower and you take a shower? You might put on your makeup, or you might get out of bed, roll out of bed, and go and get yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and sit and think about your day. You're in the process. You're thinking and thinking. Or maybe you go out and you work out at the gym. Good for you. Good for you. Then you come home, you have your coffee, you may have some breakfast and brush your teeth, take a shower, put on your clothes, do your hair, maybe do some makeup. Then you jump in that car and you stop off at Starbucks, get yourself some latte or cappuccino, and then you're off and running or driving to work. And then when you get into work, you greet everybody, and then you sit down at your desk and you look at your calendar and you get started. Maybe you attend a few meetings. That, my dear friends, is a process. And writing is also a process. Writing is a process that we all need to be comfortable with. You're comfortable with how you start your day, that process, and I'm hoping that you will become very comfortable in your writing process. Sir Francis Bacon said, "If a man will begin with certainties, he shall end in doubts. But if he will be content to begin with doubts, he shall end in certainties." Think about it. If you already have the answer to your question and you go about and you take that answer and you apply it to the problem, you'll still get the same results, won't you? What if you were to ask questions first, analyze the problem or the situation or the opportunity, and ask questions about it? Might you come up with a better solution? Now, you know, Francis Bacon was a 16th century English philosopher, and he was a statesman who served as Attorney General and Lord Chancellor of England. His works are seen as developing the scientific method and remained influential through the scientific revolution. He asked questions. He began with doubts or questions, and then he ended up with innovation. And isn't that how innovation and creativity begins? Curiosity. But we're taught in elementary, middle school, and high school to begin our essays with a thesis. Beginning our essays with a thesis leads us down a road to prove that thesis, doesn't it? If we already think we know something and we set out to prove it, are we really learning? Well, as my job as a director of public affairs, I would get departments coming to me and saying, I have this problem and I need a flyer, okay? Or I need a PowerPoint presentation with all the bullets. And here, you just create that for me. Well, it was our job to question and say, okay, let's go a little deeper. Give me a summary of all that has happened, and then let's ask questions. And healthcare organizations, if you've been privileged to be in a healthcare organization, and some other organizations as well, ask the 5 whys. So we would summarize the situation and then ask why. And then there would be an answer. And then we'd ask why again. And there would be an answer. And we go, why? And there would be a deeper answer. And then we would say, what if? And there would be an answer. And we would come up with a different solution. So let's think about that. Let's think about that. What if we had a nurse that was trying to give an injection to a 5-year-old little boy? And that nurse was all alone. The mama was there, but the mama was just distraught that this child was going to have an injection. And so the mom wasn't very much help. But the nurse asked the mom, well, can you hold the boy when I give the injection? And mom said, sure. But the little boy started crying when he saw the needle. And so as the nurse was getting ready to inject the little boy, mama was trying to console him. And she inadvertently took her hand off the little boy's arm where the injection was going to be given. Well, the nurse gave the shot to the little boy and he jiggled. And oh my goodness, the injection or the needle pricked the nurse. Well, that's an incident that needs to be investigated. And so you ask the why. Okay, so why did this happen? What happened first? And then why did it happen? Well, mama was distraught. She was trying to comfort her little boy. Why? Well, she had her hand on the little boy, but he started crying. Why was mama holding the little boy? There was no one else around. No one else was available. Why? They were taking care of other patients. Why? Why didn't you wait until a healthcare professional could help you? I was in a hurry. Why? I wanted to get to lunch. Why? What if you took your time and you waited for someone who was a healthcare professional who would be sure to make sure that the little boy was still and you wouldn't have been pricked? So we need to make a policy so that it's only healthcare professionals, not parents, not friends. And that was the answer, okay? But we had to go through asking questions. Asking questions. That's how we develop solutions to problems. That's how we develop all the technology that we enjoy. We ask questions and we ask, what if? And so what? So, meaning is different for each individual because we have different backgrounds. So when you see this flower, what do you think? I asked this question in a class and I got all kinds of answers. I got romance, beauty, love, anniversary. I got fragrance. And then there was a man that wasn't talking. And I asked him, what do you see? He said, aphids. And I asked another man, thorns. The man that said aphids, he was a landscaper. So he was looking for all that needed to be done. So our backgrounds make a big difference. We have to know who our audience is. And we have to listen to our audience as well and communicate in their language. So Schramm's model of communication helps us to understand that. Okay, so you are here and you're wanting to communicate to someone and you have your field of experience. This is your background, okay? And you want to send a message to this person over here. And this person has a different background, but there are some similarities right in here where you understand things alike, okay? So I'm going to send a message to you. And I'm the source, and so I'm sending my communication to you over here, to the destination, to you, and you are going to decode it. But the only place that we communicate is right in here. The signal. The signal is our like backgrounds, our like understandings, our like meanings. So we have to be very careful about how we communicate. We have to know our audience and we have to know our purpose as well. So writing is a process of knowing that. So that writing experience, we have to know the purpose and the ideas. And we take a critical approach and we're very focused. Our lens is totally focused. We develop a working thesis. Now notice it's a working thesis. Why is it a working thesis? Because we want to be able to learn as we go through the writing process. And we're constantly adjusting that working thesis because we're curious and we haven't arrived at the solution yet or the innovation. And we use evidence. We scour all of the resources that we have available to us. That might mean professional articles, professional interviews. It could be peer-reviewed scholarly journal articles. It could be all kinds of resources. We use evidence. We use evidence that supports the working thesis and evidence that denies that working thesis and says, no, that is not. And then we ask, so what? So I have this evidence. What do I do with it? How do I apply it? What if I turned it upside down? So we're constantly looking at the organization of all of this evidence and how it relates to our thesis. But then at the end, after we have organized everything, it's very important to attend to the sentences and the grammar. Oh my, because a misplaced comma could make the sentence need something entirely different. So grammar is important. Sorry, I know it's not a pleasant subject, but it is important. And then the School of Business and Society has chosen the format APA. And so we need to attend to how to structure your essay the APA way. You probably learned MLA. Sorry, I did too. But we are focused on using the format that the School of Business wants. So remember the SRAM model of communication? We need to create a focused analysis. And that focused analysis begins with you, the writer. And then the writer has to attend to the audience. The audience would be this class and me, okay? And we are focused on the purpose. What is the purpose of our writing? Very important. And so in this class, it will be analysis. And so you're going to come up with an analysis, which is very different than a summary. There are times to summarize. It's very different than compare and contrast. We learned how to summarize and compare, contrast, and argue in high school, didn't we? Here, we're going to analyze. We're going to analyze, and we're taking the whole. So the whole of this Lego structure and the audience, we are going to take them apart. And we are going to hold them up, look at them from the underside and look at them from the top and sideways. We're going to put them all together in different structures. And we may come up with some unusual designs. We may even cower down and put them on our hands and on our faces and just look at them and smile and say, what if? What if? Finally, we're going to put the pieces together, and now we have a working thesis that makes some sense. And now we can put the pieces back together in a very orderly way so that we have a working analysis that makes sense and that also is meaningful because we have contributed to the existing learning, the existing knowledge. You too. And you might say, oh my, I have nothing that I can contribute to this knowledge. Everything's been said. No, it hasn't. It hasn't. You can see that from innovation that is happening all the time. And you are innovating, you are contributing, and you are making a difference in the world. And I am so pleased that you are here. So, ladies and gentlemen, you got this. And it's going to be an adventure. I look forward to being with you. Have a great day.